Good morning. The word of the day today is inference, and we're going to use a little bit of a different procedure from now on for the word of the day. Hopefully, you got to class in time to already use the right click trick to get your definition and get your synonyms. If you didn't, you can do that when the video is over, and I'll show you again how to do it at the end. But from now on, we're going to be using the right click trick to get our definition, to get synonyms, and we can also use it for the example section to explore and maybe find an image that will help us with the word. All right, so today's word is inference. That's actually going to be our word of the week because our focus this week is finishing the Odyssey. And so we're just going to do one word and we're going to focus in on that so we can get our reading done. All right, so the word inference. It is a noun, and it means the act or process of deciding or concluding by reasoning from evidence. So to break that down, what it means is when you're reading something, and it doesn't have to come from reading, but that's how we use it in class. When you're reading something in your brain, you're putting together the different information, and you're trying to figure it out, and you come to a conclusion. And so if you're thinking and coming to a conclusion, you are inferring. The difference is, sometimes there's a question and you read and the answer's right in the text. Like, what is the name of Odysseus' wife? You scan the text up, Penelope. But then there might be a question like, how do you think Penelope feels after, spending 20 years raising her son on her own? And the text won't say, after 20 years raising her son on her own, Penelope feels. But you can look and see the way she's described, the way she's acting, and you can infer. So you can come to a conclusion based on the evidence that's in the text. Another definition is something that is decided or concluded from evidence, a conclusion. So it's pretty much the same thing. And there is a verb form, infer. Okay. But when I say make an inference or I say to infer, it means like based on the evidence, based on the text, what do you think? How do you put this together? What do you conclude? All right, so let's look at some examples. So another example of making inferences is if you look at the cover of a book. So I took this cover of the graphic novel and I looked at it and I just tried to infer what the story would be about. Now, obviously I've read the story, but So based on the cover of this graphic novel, we can infer that the story will involve an ocean voyage, right? Because this is the ocean or a large body of water. We see a small raft, one man. Now, I also see this huge green figure, and I might be able to infer that it's some kind of supernatural or mythological force that's going to be keeping this man in the raft from getting home. But I can make inferences based on what I'm looking at. Another example of inferences is something that we're going to be working on this week. Fingers crossed. That's the plan, but my goal is to finish the Odyssey. There's something called text snaps that's on Classroom, and I'll show it to you in just a second. But this is where I'm going to be asking you to either take a screenshot of the virtual novel, the graphic novel, or take an actual picture of the page in the graphic novel, and then share an inference. What do you infer based on that evidence? And it's going to help us get set up to write our essay for the Odyssey. All right, so let's look at a couple of things on Classroom. So for your word of the day, if you've opened your graphic organizer, what I was asking you to do is use the right click trick to get the definition and the synonyms. I would start by hitting Control F to get to the word inference. All right, here we go. And then I want the definition. So I'm going to right click, get define. All right, I'll copy the definition right here and then paste it right here. And then synonyms, it says it right here. I can copy synonyms, I can copy all, or I can copy some, and I'll put them right here. The other thing I can do is I can explore inference. And this might work, it doesn't always work, but I can look at images. None of these look that great to me, but sometimes it might be different. There might be a good one, or you could just mess around until you find an image. but that's something you can do sometimes to fill the example box. I do have an example on my copy of the graphic novel that you can copy based on the cover of the graphic novel of the Odyssey. We can infer that the story will involve an ocean voyage. And then the last thing I want to show you is the plan is to get to this week, but the main plan is to finish reading. If you go to Unit 1, Week 10, text snaps. This is something we're going to start doing this week, the next couple of weeks, to get ready to write our essay on the Odyssey. So I'm going to have you take a screenshot of the virtual text or take an actual picture of the graphic novel, and then tell me what you infer. What can you conclude based on looking at that? All right, so essentially we are finishing up the Odyssey. We are moving from just finding facts in the text and writing them down to making inferences, to drawing our own conclusions. And we are going to be working on that all week. So our word of the day, really our word of the week, is inference. I hope you have expanded your mind, and let's have a great day.